Okay, let's go.
Well, hi, friends of Control Valley. Jose here from the New Mindset. I got a confession to tell. I met this individual through my day job, which is kind of I never really talk about that, but I meet so many interesting people through that my occupation. And the first time I met you, man, you were with your kids, I believe, and you were teaching them a very important lesson about sometimes you lose, but it's not about that. Sometimes it is, but you gotta just kind of find the guidance in even a loss of a game, right? Because you teach softball, you coach soccer. And man, I was like so impressed. I was like, man, that's a great fatherly advice, man. I hope to catch you again. And every time I see you, I always ask, what's the message? What's the lesson today? And you never fail, brother. You never fail. Your lessons are always amazing. And up until today, I did not realize why. So now that I know, let me introduce Mr. Jeff Smith. There's not enough words to say all the work that you already do. You already reach out to so many hearts in so many ways. I can't even begin to explain it. So I'll just let you go ahead and tell us what it is that you do.
Yeah. So in the day, and I would definitely say first and foremost before what I do is like I'm a dad, I'm a husband,
Yes, sir.
but most importantly, I'm a son. And then I get the privilege and opportunity with my amazing wife. We get to serve at our church, Destiny. And we are the Central Youth Pastors.
Yes, sir.
So for some people who don't know what a Central Youth Pastor is, a Central Youth Pastor is a person that you are over all the multiple campuses. And so you help build teams for each campus, and they all report to you.
Okay.
They let you know what's going on each campus, because, of course, you can't be at every campus, but you build leaders. And so and that's one thing that, like, as a leader that we're called to do is build leaders. And so and the great, one of the best leaders that I have sat underneath is Pastor Obed Martinez.
Of course.
And so he has taught us a lot about what building people are, and how to not do the work by yourself, but like how you do it with people.
Oh, man.
And so so we get the opportunity. We've been here for 3 years now.
Okay, so you're new to the Coachella Valley.
Yes, very new to the Coachella Valley.
How do you like the heat?
So we're learning to adjust. We are learning to adjust.
Oh, man.
We do what everybody else does, stay inside.
Yeah, go out. It's true, man.
Oh, yeah. But my son, he's like, I don't care. We need to do something.
Okay.
And so we wait until about 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we'll go to the park, and, I'll run drills with him for soccer and things like that. And my daughter, now we're getting ready to start training her, getting ready for the new soccer season. And so, So you
have two kiddos?
Two. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, my daughter, she is 11. She will be 12 in September.
Whoa.
And my son, he is 9. So he'll be 10.
Yeah. My next question to you is, how old are you, brother? Because
believe it or not, I will be 40.
What?
I will be 40 in October.
What are we doing wrong here, people? That's fantastic, man. I mean, you definitely have the energy. You definitely have the mentality of I don't know, somebody young that you're perfect in what you do, man. That youth mentality keeps you alive and keeps you young. Absolutely. Man, that's nuts. So before all that, who was Jeff before all that happened? Take me back. Where are your roots from? So
originally, I am from Rialto, California. If those of you that don't know where Rialto is, it's right next door to San Bernardino. So it's about 45 to 50 minutes away from LA.
Right.
So mom and dad together. I have 2 younger siblings. I'm the oldest of 3. Okay. My middle brother Marcus, we are 5 years apart, and then my baby brother Malcolm, we are 12 years apart.
Okay.
So sports were our life.
Right.
I played soccer. I played baseball. So did my other little brother. But my baby brother, he did a little turn. He said football and baseball. That was it. He did American football.
Okay. Hey, okay.
And and was raised in a great family. Definitely had our trials. Went through quite a bit growing up, and like my mom and dad, they never were into like church, religion, anything like that.
Okay.
Every once in a while, like my mom would take us to church, but my dad, he was like, nah.
Well, they don't like. I did that for a long time. It's Easter, we gotta go to church.
100%.
Right. It's Christmas, we gotta go.
Yeah. We were called the holiday Christian.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what it was, and so every once in a while we would go. But it was interesting. I always knew that like God existed. I just didn't know the God of the Bible. I didn't know none of that stuff. So I wasn't raised in any of that.
Okay.
My dad, he was very involved with all of us though. Like my dad was like, he was my soccer coach, even though he knew nothing about soccer. And at that time, internet wasn't really
right. Yeah.
You know, so for him, it was, I got to go to the library. Okay. And so what I watched was my dad being a hard worker, being consistent. Same thing for my mom. Like I remember watching my dad work 2 jobs and go to school at the same time.
Wow.
And there's a moment that still to this day always sticks out to me. I was probably around my son's age, maybe a little younger.
Okay.
And my dad was up late and all the lights were on in the room and my mom was asleep. And you know, you get up early in the morning to go get something to drink, you're thirsty. And so I walk past the room and I see all these books all on the tape on the bed. And he has all these papers and I see him just kind of like shuffling through stuff. And I was like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you asleep? And he was like, I'm studying. I said, for what? And he goes, for you. And I was like, for me? You ain't studying for me.
Ooh.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. I hate school. And he was like, son, you'll understand when you get older.
Wow.
And I remember he got his bachelor's degree, and I remember him walking across the stage. He went to Cal Poly Pomona.
Fantastic.
And it made sense. Like, it was like, I'm doing, like, the only way I can stay up and go off of no sleep is because I'm thinking about you while I'm doing it. So it gives my sons no excuse to not go to college, to not get a degree, or to even just accomplish any goals in life, period. So, like, for me, excuses have never been an option, especially after that moment. That moment for me was just like, oh, okay, like, we don't make excuses, we make adjustments. So that was something that for me, I just always watched. And then my mom, so my dad was a social worker for 39 years. He just retired. My mom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my mom,
he was there through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was through the thick and the thin.
Yeah, he's really deep in the.
Oh yeah. Goodness. So.
And what does your mom do? You were saying?
So my mom, she actually worked for LAPD 911 Police Dispatch.
Okay.
She did that for, I believe, 36 years. Yeah, she was 36 years. Moved her way up through the ranks. Was one of the top ranked supervisor for 911 Police Dispatch. And you know, I watched them grind it out, dude. Like, so my mom, she would drive from Rialto all the way out to downtown LA.
Dude. Oh, whoa.
That's and she would do it every day. And then there was sometimes she would have to go out to Northridge, which is a whole nother like 45 minutes
For people that don't know, LA traffic is not a joke.
At all.
You could leave if you have to be at work at 8 a.m. and you live maybe 20 minutes away, you have to leave at 5 to 100%. Get there by 7:45.
100%.
Just because of the traffic. Traffic can add up.
Like, people don't realize 15 minutes will change the game for you. 100%. If you leave 15 minutes late or like later than normal, it will change everything until a whole hour later. And
the other thing people don't know, well, here in the Valley at least, is we're very lax.
Yep.
People, I'm sure, if you don't know, let me tell you something about living in LA. 5 minutes before, if you clock in 5 minutes before your shift, you might be late. You might just be late.
100%.
And it's very rigorous, very strict because there's so much competition.
Yeah.
So the person trying to get your job is lined up right there. It's right at your feet. It's waiting for you to make that mistake.
Absolutely.
And here in the Valley, we have a little bit of a luxury because, like, okay, well, you know, I'll try to get there a few minutes late, and it just happens. But you know what? That's a hard living.
Oh yeah.
Your parents both had jobs that were very demanding and very heartbreaking. I mean, man. Can't even begin to imagine what type of calls your mom was getting and type of deal your dad had to face and all this stuff. And in the middle of all that you are seeing them grind it out. Now you also went to school, I'm assuming, in Rialto. Okay. So when you're going through it, you know, your formative years, which I call them, you know, high school years, you kind of find your path. Where did you start kind of finding your path along the way? Was it in high school? Was it more in college? Was it a little after?
So in middle school, like, I already kind of knew, like, I was like, I want to do something that has to deal with family. That's one thing I did know. I just didn't know what it was called yet. And then my sophomore year of high school, we had what they don't have anymore, which they probably should bring back, So first semester you had your driver's education, so you can get your permit, and then the next semester you did sex education, right? And so when we were doing sex education, it wasn't just about sex; it was also about like drugs, alcohol, relationships,
some heavy
things like
topics.
that. Yeah, and so I actually learned like a lot about just the human brain. That was the first time I ever heard about dopamine, and that's the first time I heard about like estrogen and all of those things. So I was like, what is those? And so I would like deep dive into those things. And just to backtrack a little bit, my dad, one of the things that he always made me do, he didn't necessarily do it to my brothers because by that time it was a little later, but when I was younger, my dad would make me, like during the summertime, he would make me like read books and do book reports after.
Okay.
So as much as I always used to say I hated reading, I liked reading what I wanted to read.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And so when I started doing this sex education class, I started learning a lot about like the dynamics of relationships and what the brain does when two people are intimate, not even just sexually, but just holding hands, just kissing, just sitting there and spending a lot of quality time with somebody.
Yeah.
And what drugs do and what that does to your brain and how it reverses things that aren't normal in your thought process that can make insecurity start happening and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, how do I get into like helping people in their relationships? And then I found out it's a thing called marriage family therapy.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. That's what I'm going to go to school for. But right now I'm playing soccer. Let's see how far I can go with soccer.
Okay.
So I go and I play. So you
dove into your sport?
Yeah, I dove into my sport.
Okay.
First time even knowing about like club soccer when I was like 15, dove into that. Fun fact, like the team that I actually got to play for a little bit, if anybody knows about soccer, they would consider him the greatest American soccer player. His name is Landon Donovan.
Okay. So Landon yes, Donovan.
Yes.
He's still in the FIFA 2021. Yes.
Yes. So some people don't know, but Landon is from Redlands, right? And so
okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I got onto this team. They were called Cal Heat. Everybody was like, you need to play for this team, you need to play for this team. And everybody was talking about this guy, Landon Donovan. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about, like I said, internet wasn't a thing like that yet. We had AOL. So
we had to pick up the phone.
Yeah, we had to pick up the phone and discuss everything. Right. And so, long story short, like one day my dad cuts on the TV. We always had ESPN on, and one day it was just like, hey, like first time in American history, a 16-year-old named Landon Donovan out of Redlands, California gets drafted into the MLS. And I was like, oh, that's the guy that everybody's talking about. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Funny, man.
And so, like, I was playing with this team, tried out with them for a little bit, just wasn't getting a lot of playing time, and I was just like, okay, cool, maybe this isn't for me. I don't know. Like, so went to another club team, played there, and then played at Chaffey College for a little bit. While I was at Chaffey, was in classes, doing my courses, doing really well. Then got kind of caught up into like. Just like having fun, and ended up dropping out. But in doing work and things like that, and me and my now wife, we were dating at the time, and we would go off and on, and then I started working at Target, and I met this guy named Luis Matis, and like still one of my really good friends to this day, and he went to school to be a firefighter. And I was like, so how long does a firefighter? He was like, oh, it's like a year and a half. And I was like, wait, it's going to take me 10.5 years to get my degree.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to take a year. And I was like, how much do firefighters make out the gate? And so he was telling me how much they make and the benefits and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm pretty athletic, so this sounds pretty good to me.
Okay.
And I think I can do this. And so, I went for it. And I was taking the classes, went to the EMT class, and I was super excited. And then I remember, I think it was Firefighter 1. It was Firefighter 1. Okay. The guy's name was Chief Austin. Okay. He was the guy who created the program and everything. And he goes, I'm going to ask you guys this scenario. He said, it's not a right or wrong.
Okay.
Answer.
Yeah.
Not a right or wrong answer. He goes, it's a burning building. It's been up in flames for about 30 minutes. He was like, you only have an opportunity to save one person. He said, because the way it's burning really rapidly. Things are bowing in. So, but you can get inside and you can only save one person. There's a 60-plus-year-old woman. She's passed out. And there's a baby that's about a year old in there. So but you can only save one. Which one are you going to save? 9 times out of 10, most people say the baby.
The baby, yeah,
right?
Of course.
And he goes, cool. He's like, great answer. He said, babies, their lungs aren't fully developed yet.
So the asphyxiation was
yeah,
much
so
faster.
he's right.
It's already been.
Yeah, so he said there's a possibility that they die because of smoke inhalation.
Correct.
So okay, the old lady, he said, that's cool. He was like, however, and he breaks down the whole scenario for us. And then he goes, and everybody's like, well, what's the right answer? He goes, like I said, he said, there's not a right or wrong answer. He said, my question to you is, somebody has to die. And what if both still die because you made the decision? He said, can you still go home and sleep at night and make that decision and live with that decision? And I was like, no. I said, I don't want
Good
those
answer.
Yeah, I don't
Good
want those
answer.
type of
And then
decisions.
that straight you into, I'm going to use this burning question as a segue into our next segment, what we're going to talk about today and how and that's a good way of figuring out whether or not that's you, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's cut to a quick commercial. When we come back, let's talk about today, what you're doing today, and I want to hear more about your fireworks. Here we go. We had such a blast with one of our guests that we just wanted to share his message. Here in the Coachella Valley, there's a lot of ways for you to fill your spirit. But let's hear Jeff. He's got something for you.
Yo, what up? Jeff Smith here. Check me and my family out at one of our church campuses in the Coachella Valley. Our Indio campus is right across the street from Date Shield off of the 111. We have a 9 and 11 a.m. service on Sunday mornings, and we have a midweek service at 6:30 on Wednesday. And then we have our Cathedral City campus, which is at the Mary Pickford Theater, 9 and 11 a.m. service. Our belief is that we believe that we lead people into their next step with God. Why? Because we want to see you operate in your purpose and your call while you're here on this earth. Let's get it.
Thank you for letting us know where to find you, Jeff. And now let's get back to the show. All right, we're back. So, did you ever have to do the burlap sack?
Yes. So it was a little different for us though. Like, so what we did was there's a building. It's a big brick building that they have, and they put it on fire. It's like
okay, yeah.
So they said, okay, cool. Like, so you got to find the dummy. Like, okay, and the dummy's 100. They said the average human weight is 150 pounds, and I said, what country?
Where?
What country is that average? I need to know that average. That's not true. I was like, I haven't been 150 pounds since I was in like a freshman in high school, bro. So like, all right, man, I'm in shape. I was in the gym heavy, so I'm like, all right, cool. To light it on fire, put the gear on, run in the building. I'm like, where is it at? And they're like, you got to find it, Smith. You got to find it. And so I get in there, and dude, I'm sweating profusely.
Inside,
my legs feel like Jello. I pick it up. I go down the steps. As I go down the steps, I'm just like, I have to put the mannequin down. And I'll just say this: if it was a real human being, he wouldn't have died of smoke inhalation. He probably would have died of like head injury because I was dragging him down, brother. Boom, boom. I pull him out, and as I pull him out, like I lay him down. Like, Smith, you good? I'm like, yeah. And so it was those two moments where it was, I don't want to ever have to make that decision ever in life. And then I was like, this is just
the realization of it.
Yeah, right. This is not for me.
It would have been crazy if they put a baby dummy next to it. Just
Bro, you I'd have been like, you know what? I'm out. I'm out. They both gotta go. How about that? They're just there.
That's it, me. I'm gonna look out for me. So talk to me about today and what it is that you do today.
Yeah.
Tell me as much as you want to, but it's so interesting because you focus on marriage counseling before anything else.
Yeah.
But you also help the youth. I don't even know how to explain it. You kind of put a team together.
Yeah.
So walk me through a little bit of all that. Walk me through the marriage counseling first. Now that you do it, where do you do it? How can we come to you, for example?
Yeah. So when we do our so we don't call it counseling because I don't have my
therapy. That's right.
Yeah. So that'll get you in a lot of trouble. So, however, we do marriage coaching, and so like I said earlier, we were coaching a couple earlier today at lunch, and then the best way that I say is you DM me, I DM quick. I'm the first person to always I want to make sure, because this is the thing. If you have a healthy marriage, then your kids will be healthy. Where a lot of families mess things up is they put so much emphasis on the kids that they forget to that it's you guys first and then the kids, right?
That's true.
And so what ends up happening is you spend so much time, effort, and energy into your kids that you completely forget who this person is. And you guys are constantly like growing and developing and becoming someone new as you're growing. And so once the kids graduate, they get married and they just move away. Now you're just stuck with each other. And you're like, who is this person? Well, you became business partners. You weren't best friends. You weren't even friends. You were just business partners. It was, hey, kids are doing this. Okay, cool. Hey, when are we doing a vacation? Vacation are always with kids, and then we were just each other.
Yeah.
And so one of the greatest things that me and my wife do is like we make sure that people remain dating, right?
Okay.
And so we teach people how to continue to date, even if you feel like you can't afford it. The reality is that you can't afford it. You're just thinking that you have to do something expensive. Dates can simply just be like, hey, we're going to leave the kids with my parents. We're going to go to Starbucks and we're going to talk about the next week.
Oh, that's so good.
Because the reality is like dating is just saying like intimacy. Intimacy you see. That's all you're doing. Right?
Intimacy you see.
That's all you're doing.
I found the title of this episode. That's really good.
Yeah.
So dating 101, it just sounds like it was so simple and we made it complicated. And we got to go back to basics, is what it sounds like. The foundation is the most important part.
Yeah.
That's what you're...
One of the things that my pastor says, he says, God didn't create us to be busy. He created us to be fruitful.
Oh, I've heard him say that before.
Yeah.
Go back.
And so that's the thing. Like I'll just say just as the Western American culture, like our lives are revolved around being busy and we glorify being busy.
It's true.
Like if I'm busy, then I'm doing something. But that like you can be running fast going nowhere.
That's true.
Like have you ever seen like it's somebody on a treadmill? You're not going anywhere, but you're running really fast. You're running really hard. Your heart is pumping. It feels like you're doing something, but you're just in the same position. And so what we're trying to just teach a lot of like these couples is like, listen, it's okay to say, hey, we're gonna put a pause on the busyness, and I need to know who you are. Like one thing that me and my wife always talk about is like when we go on dates, is like, how can I be a better friend to you?
Okay.
Like, what does that look like? Where have I been? Because everybody likes being around their best friend.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
As soon as your best friend walks into the door, you're like, yo, what's up, baby? Like, you get all excited, right?
That's right. 100%.
Why am I not getting excited when my wife walks through the door?
It's true.
Why are you not getting excited when your husband walks through the door? Yeah. Because you've forgotten your friendship. And so we don't want them to ever forget friendship. We don't want to forget that, like, I want to just have fun with you for the rest of my life. Even if this time is hard, we're going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, man. And that's the time where you have to be the closest. There's times that happen. Things happen constantly that could really put a dent on it. You just got to kind of laugh at it. Or look at it in a different way and just kind of like, we'll get through it. We've gone through it. We'll get through it again. Every time.
Absolutely.
So now tell me more about the youth side of things. How is it that you connect with the youth, and what exactly do you do to bring it all together and make this pace of like teams and stuff? Yeah,
so when we first came out to the Valley, they were like, oh, we have all these great teams, like get with them. So we're like, all right, cool. When we first came out here, I think we had roughly about 7 to 8 leaders. So we were excited. Like, we're going to build these teams.
When you say leaders, can you specify that a little bit?
So young adults. We had young adults between the ages of, let's say, like 19 to about 23. And we were going to pour into them. And they were going to be our leaders that we're going to like pour into the next generation, right?
Got it.
So that's what we were going to do. Dude, they were with us for maybe like 6 months, and they just kind of just dispersed. Like they couldn't handle the expectations that we had. Our expectations, and they weren't even unrealistic expectations. It was just like, hey, just once a week, start meeting with students and letting them know, like, hey, we're here for you. Like, what is it that you need from us? Go to their football games, go to their soccer games. Like, if they ask you that, they couldn't do that. So what we ended up doing was we said, you know what? We got to build trust. Most leaders don't want to build trust. They only want people to follow them because they have whatever title that they have, manager, supervisor, whatever. Well, that's very surface level leadership. So people will only respect you and they'll only honor you just because of your title, but they won't do anything else extra for you outside of that. When people really know who you are and you're able to be vulnerable in front of them and say, look, I genuinely love you for you and not for what you can do for me, they'll jump buildings for you. And so we say, you know what? We need to create relationships. We need to see who's here that we feel like we can do life with. And so that's just what we did. And we just started doing life with people. And then we just did one big gathering at someone's house. And we were like, listen, we're going to do a camp for students. And we feel like each of you that are here have what it takes to be a part of that. All we're asking is for 1 year of dedication to just say, we're going to dedicate our lives to pouring into this next generation. Because if we don't, we can't complain that this generation is lost when we're not doing anything to help this next generation. And so they were all on board. They helped us like the first year. This was in 2022. We mapped out what our camp was going to be. And we went after it, and we took 68 kids to camp. And every year it just keeps increasing. The first year it was 68 kids. The second year we took 101. This year we took 133.
Wow! So it's just continued to grow.
Yeah, it just continues to grow. And with that, we're saying, okay, now give everything to our leaders. Mm-hmm. We're going to pour our whole heart into our leaders, because if we pour our heart into our leaders, they'll trickle that down into the students. Yeah, 100%. And so we have a tutoring program. During the football season, we have this thing called Friday Night Lights, where we meet into the In-N-Out parking lot. I pull out all of my DJ equipment, and so
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll pull out all my DJ equipment. We'll have a big banner that says "Welcome." It's big and yellow. And we just love on the kids, and we give out free haircuts. And then we give out gift cards, things like that. And then at the end, I just give an encouraging word to them, like nothing long, 5 minutes of just like, hey, we love you. Here's a place for you guys to come to where it's safe. Yeah. And then at the end, I say, hey, can I pray for each and every one of you? Is there anything that anybody needs prayer for? And kids will come and just like, hey, I need you to pray for my family. Can you pray for my brother? Blah, blah, blah. And I just get on the mic and I pray for everybody. And we're there. We're there from like 9 to about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So because we just know, like, kids, as soon as they're done, they just
they're just like to the food place. They're just gonna go. Of course, they're gonna go in and out.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And so and we do that, and we have we just have all types of stuff that we do, whether it's a game night, a worship night. We have our camp.
So I'm gonna ask you a hard question.
Yeah,
that's not really hard. I'm sure you got this.
I hope so.
How much are you positively affecting the community? Are you able to see it today, or you feel like you still need to go through a few more years before you can see some of the change?
I would say yes and no. I would say yes, we do. We are having an impact and influence on the community. And one, because at our church we have outreach every other Saturday. Right. So like we have people, we give out food, we paint communities, all of those things. And then as far as like youth wise, we're in the schools. So I talk to La Quinta High School's football team, their basketball team, things like that. The reason why I say no is just because I just feel like there's always room for improvement. 100%. There's always more that we can be doing. And so like there's a lot of different things. I'm trying to get a program out here called Rescue a Generation that I used to be a part of when I was in the Inland Empire. And they go into public schools and they life coach kids back into social, emotional, good behavior. Wow. And so they say, give me your tier 2, tier 3 kids, which are the kids who are being suspended and on their way to expulsion. Right. And they say, give us those kids and however many it is, 30 to 40 kids, and give us them for 10 weeks. And we're going to teach them a success course. It's called Rethinking Success. And they have like an 83% turnover rate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a high number.
Yeah, which is unheard of.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So 8 out of every 10 kids are going to succeed in this program. What happens to the other 2 kids?
The other 2, like we try to either get them back in for another round.
Okay.
If not, normally if those other 2, it's either they dropped out because they just didn't give it a chance. They just were like, no, I'm not going to do it. It's very rare and few in between is because they didn't do well in the program. It's 9 times out of 10, either they left or it's like there's been some cases where
it's just a situation.
Yeah, a situation at home happens or whatever the case may be. One like Super Sass, or one of my brothers like BJ, he was doing a school and as he was at the school, it was a girl, she was into vaping. Okay. And he was just like, just try not to vape. Like he was explaining
almost called turkey.
Yeah, like these are some things that she was like, man, I feel better, blah, 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 blah. long story short, what ended up happening was she got anxiety or something like that, was at a party, took a vape, and in the vape, it was fentanyl was in it. And
oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, and so she almost died.
You're kidding.
And because of that, she got taken away from her parents.
I don't understand this fentanyl problem going on, bro.
Yeah.
I never really, and I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so that you know, and like there and all that stuff. And like, I don't know why it's stuck with me. I mean, I did sports too. So sports really, to me personally, sports helped me stay away from certain things.
For sure.
Today, I mean, no joke. Like I've never had weed or I never had drugs really, like pills or anything. Just never called my attention. I smoked for some time and then I quit. And I drink wine and I drink beer here and there, you know, with moderation. But even that has its bad things, you know. But I just don't understand this, and it's been kind of getting worse.
Oh yeah,
this fentanyl thing, and how kids are even able to even get it, man. That's insane, bro.
Like interestingly enough, like I didn't even know fentanyl was what they use to like what doctors will use when they're doing surgeries to help you go to sleep and all that other stuff.
I didn't know that.
No idea.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought it was just like some type of another form of cocaine or something.
No, so like if fentanyl is like it's doctors prescribed, like
wow.
So they use it for purposes of surgical purpose, but they know the proper dosage to use to not like harm you.
Of course. Yeah.
So the only way I learned that, so at Xavier, they had like last year they had this full like conference.
Xavier, for those of you that don't know, Xavier is a school here in the Coachella Valley.
And they I sat through it and I was learning so much through that. I was like, wait a minute. Like,
oh, you sat through the class.
Yeah.
And you were like, wait, what?
Yeah. I was like, I was the same thing. I thought it was just a drug, like cocaine or heroin or something. And the way they explained it, it was like, wait, no.
That makes sense why the OD epidemic's so big. And oh my God, that's insane. I had no idea, brother.
Yeah, so like it's a lot of dentists use it for when they you know,
like when it's a syringe thing they put when they gotta numb you. Okay, now I'm cut up. I cut up, bro.
Yeah.
My brother Eric's gonna yell at me. He's dentist be like, "How did you know?"
Yeah, man. So they're essentially the reason why a lot of people are dying from it is because it's used for medical purposes, but they're using like too much of it. There's not a proper dose. So this is like even the smell of it can knock you out.
Let me ask you, before we cut to the next section, in talking today, what would you say was the hardest thing to get into of the two things that you're doing, the helping couples and helping the youth? Which one of those would you say is more challenging? I'm sure they both have their own, and you could I know that's a really broad question, but which one would you say, like, if you were to have to dedicate yourself to one?
I would probably say the one that's the most difficult. It will probably be marriages.
Okay.
Especially when they come to you when everything is broken. Like that's the hardest. Like a broken kid is a lot easier as long as you stay consistent with them.
Right.
Eventually at some point they'll come through. But broken marriages, once pride, arrogance, no trust is there, like it's really, really hard. You can give them every tools in the world. Jesus himself can ascend from heaven and be like, hey, no, you need to stay with each other because this is the blessing on the other side. But if somebody's like heart is just like not there, it's almost impossible because they want out that bad. So I'll probably say like marriages, because you can be a consistent like coach for them, but it doesn't matter. Like compared to a kid who's going through something, that's trauma, but you can walk them through trauma.
Yeah.
And show them something different on the other side.
Gotcha.
But if somebody's in a marriage that they're just, in shambles, that's probably like the hardest because you're dealing with two people, not one.
Let's get the commercial.
Yeah.
When we come back, let's talk about the future and let's get to it. We'll be back. Jose here from the New Mindset of the Coachella Valley. Guys, you gotta learn how to take a load off. The work week is so stressful and everyone here is always looking for the next best thing. You know what? Through the summer, we found a fantastic new place for you to check out. It's in the heart of Palm Springs and they have so many events. Hotel Zozo.
End your work week with some pool time at Hotel Zozo and chill out to the hits from the 80s to the early 2000s during our Flashback Friday Night Vibes pool party, happening every Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Go to Hotel Zozo, palmsprings.com to book your cabana reservations.
All right, we're back here. Jeff, what a fantastic conversation we've been having.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is so good. Let me ask you now about the future.
Yeah.
And when I ask you about the future, I'm asking, like, where do you see yourself in the next, year, 5 years? Where do you see yourself tomorrow? You busy person. What's it look like to you, the future, the next 5 years? Give me a plan. What do you think?
So plan would be, so my son loves to play Monopoly, right? And so I want to teach him what real life Monopoly looks like. So
fun.
Owning like a couple of businesses, properties, things like that. One of them, it's in the works right now. Me and my buddy, shout out to my boy Gil. He's a general manager at Honda. Me and him are working on something right now.
Gil Velasquez?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, okay, that's all okay.
Yeah. And so just working on that, building the coaching business, and then most importantly, I think like I want to have such a strong youth team that like to the point to where literally all they're doing is just giving me reports, and I'm just encouraging them and just fanning the flame and just blowing air in their sails so they could just be phenomenal at what they do. I love just coaching people. I love seeing people win. I love seeing people find things in themselves that they didn't know that existed. And so I would definitely say like that would be my biggest dream and goal in the next probably 2 to 3 years. Definitely, like I said, like having, businesses and properties for not just for our own self, but to give other people opportunities. Because the reality is everybody wants an opportunity. Everybody needs an opportunity, and I want to be able to help this generation and their families to be able to have moments. Because I've had tons of like moms like, "Hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you know?" And I'm just like, I'll call around and ask. But I want to be able to say, yeah, actually, go to this office over here. They have something for you. Give us your work experience, and we'll be able to help you out here. And just giving people opportunities to get out the dark and get them into the light. So
that is it's quite the endeavor.
Yeah,
and that is quite the long plan. Are you planning to stay here in the Coachella Valley?
Oh yeah,
good.
Yeah,
you love it, huh?
I love the valley. Like my wife loves the valley. Like when we first came, I was like, let's see how long my wife. Anytime we go out that way to go visit family, she's like, when do we come back?
Yeah, right.
She's ready to come back home 100%. And get in her own bed. But just like how you said, it's a lot more laid back. It's not as like hustle bustle, go. And so for her, it's her speed. It's my kids' speed. Like they love it out here. And it's something that we just see ourselves like
something you just fall in love with, man.
Oh, absolutely.
It's insane. And through the heat, I mean, it's still hey,
absolutely.
Still good. There's still pools out here.
Absolutely.
What do you see? So you continue to work at Destiny Church. For those of you that don't know, Wednesday usually you have Bible study. Sunday you have church. There's everything happening in between. People just don't know about that.
Yeah.
And so where in there is your movement? Like how are you there mostly certain days? Are you all there time? Are you focused 100% on church? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I'm normally at the office Monday through Thursday. Monday through Thursday, and then Sundays it all depends because we do have 3 locations. We have the Cathedral City campus, which is at the Mary Pickford Theater. Then we have our Indio campus, which is our main campus, and then we have one in Long Beach. So there's sometimes we'll drive out to Long Beach to make sure that they're taken care of as well. And then on Mondays, it's meetings, preparation, debriefing the weekend, things like that. Tuesdays are like, hey, these are the game plans. These are the events that are coming up. So we're mapping out the next couple of months, what that looks like. Then you're preparing for Wednesday night service. So you have there all day Wednesday, and then we're probably not leaving until about 9:30 p.m. because we have our services. So I'm preaching a good majority of the time on Wednesday nights to the students. Thursdays are, okay, we're prepping for the weekend. I'm getting with my teams. I'm on Zoom with them, or I'm having lunch or coffee with them. and just letting them know, like, hey, what is it that you need from me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you prepared? Do you need anything from your lessons, etc.?
Like I said, you're not busy at all. So that being said, let me stop you there. So much you got to go through in your head, so much you got to fit into a day, and the fact that you do it, and not only do you do it to the best of your abilities, you're also a husband and a father, you're a son, man. All of these things combined put so much pressure on an individual, and you have something that lifts you up. What is it that lifts you up?
Well, first, like, because you said something, it was like it's a lot of pressure, right? So pressure is a privilege. Okay.
Yes.
There are things that we pray for that we like, why can't I just have? And then when we get it, we complain about the things that we were praying about, right?
Correct.
And so I would much rather have my hands full than to be empty-handed. Correct. And the reason why I would much rather them full is because at the end of the day, I give it to God anyways. Yeah. So the word says, like, to cast your cares because he cares, right? Like, he cares for me. So if he cares for me, then that means that I don't have to carry the weight anyways. It wasn't mine to carry in the first place.
Correct.
So I give it to him and I say, like, Lord, like, you're going to carry this. Like, I asked for this, but you gave it to me because you felt like I had the capacity to hold it. And so, with that, like that's how I get through. And just communicating, a lot of communication for anybody that's listening and you're in a relationship, in a marriage, anything like that. They always say communication is the number one thing. Yes, but comprehension is also important too.
Right.
You can communicate to your blue in the face, but if that person doesn't comprehend what you're saying, it doesn't mean anything. Right. So I try my best to try to communicate as clearly as possible to my wife, like how I'm feeling, what's going on, what we have going on in our day. And then every morning we're looking at our calendar. Yeah. We're constantly like looking at our calendar, like, okay, what do we have? Is this, okay, scratch it off, boom, boom, boom. The kids have this, me and you, we have this date night. Okay. Yeah. So no matter what, like, we don't veer away from it and we're a slave to the calendar. If you don't have anything set in, then yeah, you're going to feel overwhelmed, but overwhelmed just means underprepared.
100%. Yeah. The more you, and this is a constant with not just yourself, but other guests that I've talked to that are very much in the same, a lot of us are in, I'm going to put myself in there because we're starting to be in part of the public eye. A lot of us in the public eye that have all these, say, events or people we're coaching or whatever it is that you have, a day job, not a day job, whatever it is, if you find the correct schedule for it, nothing really is stressful. It's more like, how prepared are you for the next hour? Yep. You have something planned this 10 minutes, 15, 30, the rest of the 30 minutes you got left, do you not? It's okay. We got to figure it out together. Yeah. That really is what it comes down to, and having a good plan is very important.
Absolutely.
Well, let me cut into this this is fantastic. We're about to cut into my favorite part.
Yeah.
So let me cut commercial here. When we come back, let's talk about what I like to call my segment of pearls of wisdom. Yeah. All right, here we go. Did you know that up to 80% of adults have stretch marks or scars? The new mindset for the Coachella Valley brings you JD Aesthetics, where they delve into the world of skin camouflage, stretch mark removal, and scar revision. Licensed paramedical tattoo specialist Joanna Davila Rios has a simple mission in mind: to help everyone embrace their natural beauty.
Enter New Conceal, a revolutionary skin tone correction treatment using tattoo technology. Joanna is certified to perform this incredible procedure, utilizing new skin tone reduction device and application to achieve precise color matching for seamless results. Join us as we explore the artsy and science behind the New Conceal technology. This beautiful coverage empowers individuals to love their skin that they're in.
Joanna brings personalized care and professionalism expertise to her clients.
Thank you so much, and we hope to see you soon.
And for more information, don't forget to visit jdaestheticsllc.com. And now let's get back to the show. And we're back now. First of all, Pastor Jeff or Jeff?
You just call me Jeff, bro.
All right. Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
Former firefighter, entrepreneur. No. Hey, I went to police academy, bro. I was right there next to them watching them do it. I was like, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
So, man, you've already dropped so many pearls of wisdom just in this conversation we've been having.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to ask you for a few more. Mm-hmm. If you could leave, there's somebody listening. I was just telling you this before we started. There's people listening to us all around the world. And I mean, I'm not kidding when I say that. It's really, if you have internet, you can listen to our podcast, and people do. And today we're the number one podcast here in the Coachella Valley, thanks to Fire Nights for taking a break. Once that sports channel comes back, I just can't compete with sports. I appreciate it. giving us a chance to have the forum. So I'll tell you this. There was an episode that I had with a DJ.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but my younger brother, Eric, was like, hey, I always want to be a DJ. I heard your episode. Can you hook me up with that DJ? And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, she's talked about a few things you could do to get started, but like, I just didn't get enough. And I was like, man, I didn't know you were listening. But the fact that my youngest brother, was listening and told me that was like, okay, now I know. Now I know for sure. I want people to have a chance to hear how you can do what you're doing, or even just a little bit of wisdom. Like, how can I make my day just better? How can I schedule all my confusion and stress into a simple calendar? Well, what can I do? You know, well, what are your steps into making sure that you have a successful day and you have a successful, I don't know, week?
Yeah. So the way my day normally goes is I'm up 4:30, 4:45. I get up, I do my stretches. While I'm stretching, I'm praying. I'm just asking God like to meet me where I'm at. Then I go to the gym. I'm at the gym at about 5. I'm done by about like 6:30. I get done, take a shower, wake my family up. As I wake my family up, hey babe, it's time to get up. Have conversations with her like, hey, what do you have going on today? What do you need from me today? And then as we have a board that's in our bathroom that we walk past. Yeah. So while I'm walking past it, I'm glancing at it, and it's
a visual.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's okay. That's already done. That's done. Okay, cool. So I see what we have to do as a family, what time that is. Okay, good. And then I go to my calendar and I look at my calendar for the day. When school is in, we drop the kids off. But while we are, it's something that we just recently started, maybe a couple months ago. When we're in the car with the kids, we call it question time.
Okay.
And so we ask our kids at least 3 questions on the way to school.
Okay.
One question could be, what is something that you wish that we would do more of?
Okay.
Do you feel like you can be more of yourself around us or more of yourself around at school? And so we have these conversations with them to connect with them, but also to, get a temperature of where their emotions are at, where their feelings and their mind and all that stuff. And so then drop them off. I always walk them to their class. I always let them know like, hey, you're a leader, not a follower, but you are not called to lead everyone. You are called to lead yourself. Remember that. And remember, you don't represent your first name, you represent your last name. God has called you to be great, so walk in your greatness. Love you guys.
Yes,
give them a kiss, walk off, get in the car. Me and my wife, we go to work, and we just have a conversation while we're at work. Or on our way to work, or just like, hey, these are the meetings that I have. Do you have that on your calendar? No. Okay, cool. Then we get in the office. As soon as we get in the office, I'll do my devotion. Right now, I'm going through Ephesians right now, and so I do my study for myself for about 30 minutes or so, and then once I'm done, I'll just start doing research of like what sermon I'm going to be preaching that Wednesday, and then what I'm going to be pushing out, because I do the sermons for all campuses for Sundays, so I create all the content for Sundays, even like so it can say this is the opening verse, this is the first point. These are some illustrations that you guys can use. You don't have to use these, but just to give them something to go off of.
Yeah, of course.
And then, do my lunch. As I'm on my lunch, I'll watch something on YouTube for that hour just to kind of get my mind off of like what I'm doing. So it could be like sports related, multiple different podcasts, just whatever.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I'm still a wrestling nerd, so I'll catch up on all my little WWE stuff. Okay.
So, The Rock is back.
Yes, he's back. Roman Reigns came back on SummerSlam.
There you go.
So and then once we go, we pick our kids up, we come home, get them ready for the night, and we have dinner together. How was school? And then we go back into the questions. Because one thing that what we've learned being in youth ministry is whenever you say, how was your day? They're going to be like, it was cool. Especially the older they get. The older they get, they don't care about school. They don't want to hear about school. But if you ask them a question like, hey, did anybody get in a fight today? They'll be like, yeah, and they'll just tell you everything. Or, hey, did anybody get in trouble today? Yeah, such and such always gets in trouble. And you're like, okay, well, what happened? That's and then they just then that's when they just vomit. And so I was like, oh, so I remember you told me about your friend. And then it gives us an opportunity to just have conversation around the table. And, or we'll talk about their shows or movies or
so it
things
sounds
like that.
to me like the biggest, most important part of your day outside of the scheduling part is the communication part.
Yeah.
Because that truly is, I wouldn't call it glue, but it is it's stronger than glue.
Oh, yeah.
It's like concrete. It's
Absolutely.
like the fast, dry cement that's keeping everything well and together and oiled and geared and ready to go. It sounds like you truly found a way to keep that communication between all of you so tight and well preserved that it's not like it's out of the ordinary. Some people try to do communication skills and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you truly got it down to a science that's working.
Yeah, no, I think one of the biggest things is like, so our first year of marriage wasn't that. Our first year was rough. It was super rough. But as time has progressed, one thing that we have learned is that always remember that this is my teammate. This is not my enemy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm for her and she's for me. So I'm always going to assume the best out of you, even if like your presentation didn't feel the best, but I'm going to assume that you meant the best for me. Okay. So we will revisit presentation, but I'll accept what you said and then revisit and say, hey, babe, like, you know what? Thank you for what you said. I took that in consideration and this makes sense, et cetera, et cetera. And, just wanted to present this to you. Okay. You said it like this. Yeah. And I was really offensive. I don't know if you caught that or not. I'm just going to put that out there. And we understand that that's not the intent. The intent is the information.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so,
sometimes the words you use may not reflect what you're trying to portray. Just kind of that's how it came out.
And learning how to like not say, oh, I get you, but it's not, because once you say but, you negate everything that you just said you agree to or you understand to. So instead of saying but, it's okay, and can I add to that? However,
now you're adding to the conversation.
Yeah, I'm adding and not taking away, right? And because the reality is, I don't want to prove a point. I want, like, if I'm trying to prove a point, that means that I'm trying to win. I don't want to win. I want the marriage to win. I want the relationship to win. Important. That's the end goal. The end goal is unity, not me winning. Because if I win, that means that you lose. And if you lose, then that means that we lose.
Yeah, that's your team.
Right.
100%.
So I can't do
You're
that.
Fighting an uphill battle.
100%. 100%. And if I genuinely love you deeply, then I should always assume the best in you, and you should always assume the best in me.
I'm going to close it off with that. This fantastic message. We've been here about an hour. This has been the best, longest episode I've ever had, man. This is fantastic. We need to pick up again in the part 2. I feel it in my bones. Jeff, I want to say thank you for your time. I want to say I don't want to take more of it because, man, I can't imagine the rest of your day. I do want to say I think I want to connect you with a baseballologist. If you've never heard of this, man, he's fantastic. He's been on my episodes before. And something that you were saying he does too, he has a baseball camp and he's well known in that baseball community. And I have a feeling that you guys should connect. I don't know why that came to me a little bit ago. I'd love for you guys to meet up, and I love the new minds to kind of connect you both.
Absolutely.
I think I don't know what to say. I'm sitting here listening to all this, and I'm kind of looking in and going, am I doing that or am I not? It's a really good episode for you, the listener, sit down and just really go through it a few times, because there's been a lot of things said in many of my episodes, but this one's diving deep at surface level. Mm-hmm. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine sitting down with you for a session. That'd be great. It's got to be fantastic. I'll bring my Monopoly games.
Bring them, bro. Bring them.
Well, thank you again for your time. Thank you for to all of our sponsors. We are gonna make sure to give you guys links everywhere. And Jeff, one more thing. Where is the best way to connect with you? Where's the best way to find you? How can people reach out to you?
On all platforms is Jeff Smith Speaks. And we will be launching our Real Spill LLC really soon. So keep on the lookout for that. So that's something that we've been working on for quite some time. It's a term that we use. Real spill is a slang term that just is like, we just keep it real, we keep it raw. Yeah. But we give you the proper tools to get you where you need.
Are you going to be hosting that one?
Yes, sir.
Oh, are you hosting with someone, or is it just you?
It's just me. Yeah.
Okay. I've seen some, just so you guys know, I went into your Instagram and I saw that you have quite a few videos in there that are very powerful. And then in one of them, your mic went out or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, we gotta we gotta hear him out. What's going on here? I need to put the captions.
Yeah.
But you know what? Fantastic video, fantastic work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping the community in the Coachella Valley, whether we say it or not. Thank you. The work that you're doing, helping the youth, that's our future, right?
Yes,
helping the people that are already established in their marriage, whether they're in shambles or not. You're actually going in there and fighting a battle that not a lot of people are. So thank you for that. And to the rest of you, we want to say have a great day. And if it's night, have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.